now want to briefly invite some professionals dealing with teenagers to come and join us in the panel desk. For those of us who are first-time teenage mothers, I am sure this is a session we are really going to enjoy because we do not have a benefit of raising another. This is when our children are at teenage, and sometimes we look at them and we wonder where they came from because we are not understanding what they are up to. So I'd like to invite Juliet, if you're here, please be upstanding. And Mr. Karago. Is it Karago or Karugo? Mr. Karago. Karibuni sana. Let us clap for them as they come. Juliet and Karago. Karibu, Juliet.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again. I mentioned I'm Lydia Karimi. I'm a counseling psychologist. Through my profession, I've been able to meet and connect with teenagers, and I'm well aware of the issues and the challenges that they face. And so today, with our panel, I want us to go through a bit of the experiences that you've had while handling and addressing teenagers, and in line with this book that Mercy and Graham have written. So it will be a short panel session, but I believe it will be a rich one. So you can go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us your name, tell us who you are in terms as a person, and then your profession, so that I can be able to go to the next level.
Thank you so much. My name is Karagu Mwaura. I'm here courtesy of Graham and Mercy. I met Mercy when I was in campus. We did a lot of things together growing up in campus. Most of them professional things, and then even after campus again, we did a lot of things doing things to do with Ability Africa. If there was something like that, you remember, we were doing it with Mercy. I was in her editing board. We did a lot of things there. I'm a teacher and a communication practitioner. I teach film, theater, drama. Yes, at Sunshine School.
Thank you. So Karagu is a teacher. Where are you teaching?
Pardon?
Where are you teaching?
I teach at Sunshine School.
Sunshine School.
Yes.
So are you dealing directly with teenagers?
Yes, yes.
So you're dealing directly with teenagers. Thank you so much. Let us clap for him. Okay, Juliet, tell us more about yourself.
All right. All protocols observed. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon or evening? Good evening.
Good evening.
As you've heard, my name is Juliet. I'm born again. I interact daily with teenagers, courtesy of my profession. I work with the Teacher Service Commission as a teacher by choice. I'm a youth coach by choice, and I work with teenagers in churches and many other different platforms as the Lord gives chances.
Thank you so much. Let us clap for Juliet. I don't know whether you noticed what she said, that she is a teacher by choice. Did you hear that? So what that means is that she's not a teacher by circumstances, that no, there's an assumption that teachers become teachers, especially if you didn't attain the grades to become what you really wanted. But clearly, she is a teacher by choice, and that tells us she looks like someone who really enjoys what she does. We are yet to hear more about that. So I think, Karagu, will ask you, now that you engage and interact with teenagers almost on a daily basis, apart from now when you're on holiday, what are some of the major challenges that you have noticed teenagers are going through currently?
I said earlier that I teach a lot of theater and drama, and it allows me to interact with those kids from the age of 11 to 21. They have a lot. They go through a lot of challenges. But the biggest challenge that I have faced, they have confessed, and which I have seen them experience, is about choices, decision making. They have a problem there. And especially when the world has become a bit dynamic, and the world has become permissive in a way. So the young people, they are out there making wrong and right choices, and at the end of the day, they are suffering consequences. So the biggest challenge the youth are going through, the teenagers are going through, is about decision making and the choices they are taking.
Oh, wow. So one of the challenges you're noticing is that they are really struggling with making choices, and especially making the right choices.
Sure.
What do you think could have contributed to that?
Mostly is exposure to wrong people in their lives, and mostly the sitting back of parents. They leave their children to grow on their own, to find their own way. So that is really affecting the generation that we are raising. Yes.
So the people that are around them, the people that they interact with, play a major role in terms of their decision making. And at the same time, some of us, as parents, myself being one of them, have played a role because we have left the children to make decisions by themselves. Maybe as parents, we are quite involved and engaged with responsibilities like work, there's ministry work, there's the community is calling for a lot of our attention. And I think, Juliet, I want to believe that you must have experienced the same challenge, or whereby the teenagers you're interacting with are challenged in decision making, right? And so how would you help the parents play their role? What would you tell the parents here? Because I know we are quite a number of us. What would you tell us in terms of affirming us and encouraging us to spend more time and mentor our children, and not leave our children to the teachers alone and the Sunday school teachers?
Thank you for this opportunity once again. Dear parents, as my colleague here said, that we have issues with children, and especially teenagers, making choices. And most of the time you realize that, as she said, we don't have adequate time for these children. And therefore they grow without that capacity to make their own choices. Sometimes, another thing that I've noted is that apart from the time, some of us, we were left to grow. Most of us who are sitting here, my age and above, we were born and we were left to grow. We are left to grow, maybe raised by our sisters like Mercy. Some of us, by the grace of God, we found Mercy, and others who pushed us on. We were just left to grow. And we want to pass that on, forgetting that we are living in a very different generation. One, by the grace of God, we were able to grow because ignorance has its own advantages and disadvantages. One, we were not so much exposed. But the kind of generation we have is a generation that is exposed. And what I want to say to the parent is this, that the old tricks may not work for this generation. The old tricks may not work for this generation. These people are exposed, they know much, and they are adult, they can hear. For us, we grew with orders. Don't do this. And it could work because of that setup that we grew up in, and the level of exposure was too small. For example, a parent would leave home and tell you, you can as well leave. And of course, you knew that is an order that you're not supposed to leave automatically, because that is then. If I tell my daughter now, I've left home, you can leave, that is a different statement in this generation. She will definitely leave. So what we are saying is this. We have to get into the basics of who we are handling. People who are exposed and people who can reason. As young as they are, even from age 9, I typically deal with from age 14 and sometimes 13 going all the way to 1920s. These are the people you can have a conversation with. So my request is, let's not use the old tricks. They may not work for these generations. These people can listen. Some of the things, they are exposed more than you are parents. So sit with them. Create that time. Listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Juliet. Clearly, the model which our parents used those days looks like it's not working today. And as the new parents today, we need to actually work around which new models to use. And one of them, as I heard Juliet mention, we need to engage with our children more. Let's have conversations with our children more. There's something I picked as you were speaking, and I'd love Karago to answer this to us. Juliet mentioned that the children today, the teenagers today, are more exposed than we were. When she talks about exposure, what are some of the things you think she's talking about?
The young people, compared to our generation, we were not exposed to internet and, to the world. Today, the world has become a global village. And during our time, comparatively, if you compare it with now, you'll find that the children from the age of even 7, even my son, I came with him, he's here. He's with my phone right now. He's getting exposed as we speak. So what we are saying is that they have been exposed to a lot of things out there through the internet and during personal experiences. Personal experiences with other people around them. So they are more exposed, and what they are exposed to is what they are practicing in their lives. Yes. So you will hear parents saying that I want to give my child everything that I was not given when I was growing up. My child cannot lack. My child didn't. I went to school without shoes, and my son or my daughter must go to school with shoes. But we also forget one thing, like my colleague has said here, that there is something you are given when you're growing up. What is that you were given? Most of us, we were given discipline. Discipline, it doesn't matter whether we are in the older generation or in the current generation. What matters is you must pass discipline to your child. Whether you love that child or not. Whether you want to give that child what you are not given or not. You are going to work from morning to morning just because you want to provide what you did not get, so that your child cannot lack. But remember, you're raising somebody's else future husband, for example, future wife to somebody, maybe a future bishop, a future president. Be very careful how you raise that generation.
Wow, let's clap for him. This is quite deep. And you've mentioned something that is very important, that many of us today as parents, we are busy trying to cover up. Yes, we are trying to cover up for the things that we missed. I remember I got my phone when I was going to campus. And today, my 8-year-old is telling me, Mommy, I need to have a phone. Everyone my age today has a phone. And it's been a topic that we are really discussing around. At what age should he have a phone? And why should he actually have a phone, And at times I notice when I bring it up, like, no, you should not have a phone at this age. I've realized that it's a cause of stress. It's becoming a cause of stress. And it is quite unfortunate that stress today is not only affecting the adults, but stress is affecting the teenagers and the pre-teenagers. And I believe when we talk of the use of gadgets, when we talk of peer pressure, when we talk of teenagers lacking things and items, they are finding themselves stressed up, and this is causing suicidal thoughts and suicidal tendencies. How would you, Juliet, advise the teenagers? I know we are just about to finish. How would you advise the teenagers to handle stressful situations or stressful matters where they need something and they are not getting it? How would you advise them to handle those issues?
All right, thank you. I first of all want to appreciate Mercy and my brother Graham for coming up with this beautiful material, Navigating Teenage. One of the ways of handling all these matters is this. These children are exposed to many other things that we have talked about. But as Christians, as parents, what are we presenting to them? And I thank God that we have solutions in our generation. One, we are presenting such a book that could be an answer to many of these things and the questions that we are asking today. And of course, my challenge before I go to the teenagers briefly is to all parents. Let's support this ministry. Let's support book writing. Buy materials for them. Buy materials for them. Some of us are products of a book we read. Some of us are a product of a sermon we earned. And therefore, one of the investments that you can give to these children, the Bible says godliness with contentment is a great gain. Wazazi, even if we have nothing else to give, and this is my prayer for all of us, is that these children can inherit godliness from us. Teach them God. And it will sort out many of the issues that we have today. We couldn't be having, or you want them to become doctors, and I'm not saying that most of faces, there are some faces here that know me. I'm a straight-A student. And of course, when I'm talking about education, I'm not saying it's bad. I got my straight A's. But even if they get those PhDs, and they lack that essence of godliness, they will become a thorn in the flesh for you and the generations to come. So parents, even if we cannot give them anything else, one of the things I used to tell my friends when I joined campus, having seen all the rot, you know, we have come in as a student and children are getting lost left, right, and center. One of the things I was telling my friends, I have one of my friends there, she was my roommate and we're having gone together. My husband is also here. One of the things I used to tell them is that mtoto wangu akikosa kumjua Mungu, my prayer would be, hata asipite mtihani aende huko. And what am I saying in all these things? That the only secure space for your child is ensuring that they know God. And again, one of the things that I ought to say is that even if you're teaching them, you can be a godly parent and you're doing your best, it is possible to have an errant child. My brother Ken is here and he shared a story. But look at the sins that are growing later. Having lost in drugs for all those many years, he's back. All right? Keep planting that seed. Teenagers, oye. Guys, mko vipi? Yes, life has its own pleasures, but let's give it back to God. Anything I can say, I can only say God. Why? There is that gadget, it's not coming back. The only safe place for every teenager is in God. You may not get all that you need. We don't want to have children with brand pressures as this age. Take it back to God in prayer. You have all the materials, embrace the books, embrace the articles. When you have that phone, ask yourself, what is it that I can do with all these materials online, apart from watching all the wrong things? What commitment are you making with that internet? Because the truth is, these ones will not deny them phones. This is a different generation. But can we train them? And teenagers, make a commitment that my phone will be a blessing to me. The books that I have are a blessing to me. My friends are friends that are pushing me to become better day by day. Thank you.
Well, let us clap for her. Thank you so much, Juliet. Juliet has emphasized the fact that we need to ensure that godliness is a key thing in bringing up our children and bringing up our teenagers. And as we end, I'd want to hear what you think, Karago, about at what point do we take a teenager to consult a counseling psychologist, and also give us your parting shot.
All right. Before I answer that question, allow me to answer a question you asked, and we have to answer it this way. There is no time there is no particular age that you can say that you are now ready or not ready for the phone, or for the laptop, for the tablet, or for anything, for PS, for all those things. There is no particular age you can say this is, but there is one thing, like we are saying, responsibility. You and your child must have responsibility. The parent and the child must have a responsibility. You must negotiate on how you're going to go about using those gadgets. A child's room in your house is your house. There is no privacy in your child's room. What privacy is there? I'll give us a little example. I was dealing with a certain case of a student who was caught using drugs. And he admitted that he uses drugs at home. So we invited the parent to come to school so that we can tell her what we think and what we know about the child. So the parent came and she was very angry with us. We are wasting her time. She's supposed to be busy looking for fees. We told her, look here, those ones can wait. So finally, she accepted to listen to us and the son. And the son admitted that they hide in their bedroom to smoke weed. So at what point do you have boundaries with your children? Don't create those boundaries. Let them be your friends. Communicate. Have them with you. Give them time. Those people, for God loved the world that he gave. He gave something because he loved. So if you love your children, there is something you must give. The best gift, according to Rick Warren, that you can give to those people that you love is your time. So if you give your children your time, if you give your parents your time, then you won't go astray. So to answer that question that you asked last, and also as I give my parting shot, is this. Personally, I grew up in, like her, we were led to grow. And mjichumie. So our job was to go to school, come back, work at home. Nobody used to talk about anything. Nobody talked about to us about sex, use of drugs, anything. Nobody talked to us about all those things. We learned those things on our own. As my parting shot, be a friend to your child. Be close to that child. Let that child get the first exposure from you as a parent. And today, don't live without this book. I'm also carrying copies. I'm one of the contributors, and it's going to be a blessing to you and to your children. And give to the neighbors. Let them read. People that don't read it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, but if you're a reader, you go far. Power of reading is the same as power of positive thinking. May God bless you. May God bless you, Pastor Graham and Mercy. We will come again if you invite us. We'll go with several copies of your book so that we can also send to our friends and our teenagers, the teenagers around us. May God bless you so much.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Juliet. Thank you, Karago. Thank you for the wonderful information and knowledge that you shared with us. I believe the parents that are here have been able to get information to be able on how to maneuver around bringing up our teenagers. And I believe that the Lord is going to continue blessing you and equipping you for the wonderful job that you're doing in your schools. And as you do the work you're doing to the other children, may the Lord also remember your very own. God bless you. It was nice having you. I've enjoyed hosting you.
Thank you.
Yes, you can have a seat.